sailboat in the moonlight and June. Wouldn't that be heaven? Oh, heaven just for two. A soft breeze on a June night and June. What a perfect setting for letting dreams come true.
Welcome to another episode of Wind Over Water. Today we're going to do another backyard boat find, and you want to thank me for the amount of effort I put in to get here today. There's my ride coming in. The boat is hidden in a horse barn in the middle of nowhere, and come on in with me. It's a Picaroon. There's going to be a bit of noise because I'm in sort of a tarp barn right now, but we want to show you this boat for sure. This is a real departure again from what we've been normally showing you, and definitely is not something you're going to see every day. This boat is wood. It's made out of cedar strip in fact, and much of the wood on deck is either ash or there's a combination of oak and mahogany. Down below it's like a gentleman's library. It's so gorgeous. Sailing a wooden boat is very, very different from the aesthetic of sailing a plastic boat or a steel boat, and for the simple reason that it's a labor of love. Generally speaking, if you leave the boat in the water throughout the year without any cover on it, it's going to need a certain amount of maintenance each year in order to keep it going. If you've got somewhere to store the boat, or if you could trailer it and then put it into a garage or something, that's a different story, but having this boat just languish in a marina is not a good idea. So first and foremost, a wooden boat is going to be a bit of work, and anyone who's considering picking up this beautiful work of art, that's something you're going to definitely want to take into account. have I got the time. Now the Picaroon was designed in 1937 by Sam Rabl. Now Sam designed 3 versions of this boat. There's a 19-foot version, and that's what this one is. It's 23 feet overall, I think, with the sprit on the back there. I'm not sure what they call that. It's on the stern. There's a 20-foot version, and there's a 24-foot version, I believe. They're mostly home-built boats, and they come from an era when people were buying plans, again, much like the small steel boat we looked at, an era when people were buying plans to build boats at home. And Sam actually authored a few books, one of them being about building a boat in your backyard. And this boat is actually a home-built boat as well. So people could buy his plans and build a beautiful vessel for much less money than it would cost them to buy something new. But of course, because this was designed in the 30s, all the boats were wood back then, so, or steel. The difference between sailing a fiberglass boat and sailing a wooden boat is that sailing a wooden boat is more like maintaining a piece of art. You've become a custodian of this piece of art, and you are certainly going to gain lots of admirers when you come to the dock, but there's a cost for that. And that cost is that you're going to spend a lot of your free time touching up the paint, keeping an eye that you aren't getting water down below, especially fresh water. Now this boat is somewhat maintenance free because it has very little varnished wood. Most of its wood is painted, and that's considerably easier to manage than actually having to varnish. So a boat that's finished bright would take up all your day. This boat I would consider to be not terribly difficult to maintain as far as wooden boats go. First of all, because it's so small. It's only 19 feet on deck, and just under 19 feet, I just measured it. And so it's a very small boat, but it's a very capable boat. So if you've got a very small area that you can store a boat in, or if you don't feel you want to handle anything too large, this is a cool option for you. And it's beautiful. So anyway, let's go down below and have a look. Now the owner of this boat used to have a classic boat rental company whereby you could rent classic old yachts and take them out on the Bay of Quinte and through the Kingston Thousand Islands area. So this was one of those boats in the fleet. It hardly has been used at all. It sat undercover in this shed for years and years and years. So this boat is actually virtually brand new. If you wanted to take this offshore, it's a proven boat. They're very capable. They're able to take some big water, and they're a great little boat for somebody who's got some time on their hands and wants to live life artfully, you know. Beautiful boat. Her spar is aluminum. She's got a Volvo MD1 diesel down below, and that diesel has been completely rebuilt. So I think he's got a new starter even coming for it yet, so that'll be on the boat shortly. But basically you've got a new motor and a new boat, and he's asking like 7,500 US for it, so whatever that works out into in Canadian. Now it isn't going to have a lot of amenities. This boat has a toilet. It has an ice box that you'd need to put ice in, and it's a small ice box at that. It's got about 5 liters of water in there, a little gravity-fed water system. So you can one person can get along quite nicely for about a week in this boat, I would think, if you wanted to do some traveling and adventure. I'm sure the spars aren't that big that you couldn't raise and lower them. If you had this boat on a trailer, you couldn't raise and lower them without the help of a crane either. So it's kind of a great boat for a couple who isn't very tall, or a guy who wants to have some adventures who's good at woodworking. One thing I should mention about these boats too is that they're not just your conventional wood hull. These are actually a full fiberglass hull encapsulating a cedar strip mold, basically. So the mold goes with the boat. So when this was built, it was built like a cedar strip canoe to get the form of the boat, and then the glass was laid over on top, and there's a substantial amount of fiberglass here. This isn't just a thin hull. This is a real beast of a boat. If I can say one thing about it though, it sure is beautiful. Now the Picaroon was designed in 1937. Now the Picaroon was designed in 1937. Shoot. Now the Picaroon was designed in 1937 by Sam Rabl.
Talk to me.